All right. This is, I believe, my 49th video. Lately I've been making as many videos as I can. I'm very much aware that perhaps there'll be a time when I will not be able to make any videos. So that's why I'm making videos now, because I want my story to be left somewhere and maybe help somebody. Now, I know that the reason why I'm able to be as strong as I am now is because of people testifying and talking about all these different things that's happening to them. And so I want to do the same thing. I want to leave my story. I know that as a target individual, we are tormented and horrible things are done to us. And so maybe we don't have the chance to leave testimonies when we can. So I'm gonna do that in understanding that it has helped me a lot. The reason why I'm not losing my mind as much as I would have if I didn't hear this testimony is because I've heard too many. And people. I mean, the being targeted. We in this fashion with this technology, and I truly still believe this is more of a human experimentation where we target individuals as subjects to this experimentation of weapon experimentation, technology experimentation, that obviously comes from the DoD entities. Obviously, DARPA is involved. Obviously, other entities are involved, but they do contract civilians to implement this experimentations, and so a lot of the things, as a target individual, everything is already aligned in a way to to and almost like orchestra a certain way. Uh, you know, I have perps that lives around me, just like many other target individuals. My targeting is not that much different. I think it's this. There's not a unique of anything in my targeting. Everything that's been done to me has been done to others. It's funny, earlier today they were like, "Oh, for you, we're gonna do everything. We're gonna all of it is gonna be done to you." And it's funny because the people who tell me this are people who are trying to present themselves as, like I said many times, they try to make themselves appear as like they are here to avenge, to protect, to do this and that, and they contradict themselves in so many ways and don't understand that's contradicting themselves. Because what they're saying is, you know, yes, we torture these women and children, yes, we do this, but with you, we're gonna do all the same torture, all the different torture from everybody onto you, because what you've done. Well, they just admitted they're involved in this program that tortured children and women. That's why they use childlike individuals with rationale that are very specific to, and to, obviously there's all kind of people too involved, and those people have to dumb themselves down and make themselves childlike. They have to irrationalize themselves to involve themselves in this. So so there's a lot of nonsensicalness happening. And so that's why I'm trying to continuously put things in reality and put things in perspective. So, target individual, I know when I'm speaking about my targeting, some of you have experienced a lot of it, some of you haven't. And so, by me addressing my targeting, I just want to make sure that you're not alone. You will be forced to be thinking in the most irrational ways because the people around you are making you, and not even making you, they are trying to push this irrationality onto you. Now, I've keep mentioning DARPA, sorry, not DARPA, technology, V2K technology that's capable of overriding your thoughts, making you think, perceive, and do many other things in a way that is not you organically experiencing it. And the people around you are supposed to force you to accept this thought as if it's organically and try to make you feel guilty. With me, what they do, right? They've many times said they're gonna frame me, right? Somebody here said, you know what, I'm gonna say that you raped my child, and you're gonna be framed, and it's gonna work. We're gonna win. Others have said, or we're gonna implant child porn and this and that, and then you're gonna get raped. And so every time they make me think in this disturbing way, to make me think in this nonsensical way, what they do is just come, talk about, warn me about what's gonna happen to me, so I can identify with the thoughts that they have me have. So I can, and so I can go and accept this way of thinking as if it's organically happening, as if this makes sense, as if this is something that, and so that they use those quote unquote warnings of what they're going to do to me to make me fearful and accept these ways of thinking. And so today I just want to talk about the mental torture. Now, there's a lot of physical torture. Actually, my organs are just being destroyed. I don't eat the same. I have to speak. I don't know which organ, but saliva. I keep salivating. I have to speak nonstop. I don't know which organ is being destroyed in this case, but I feel like my gastro is just disturbed. Some other part I don't want to talk about have been definitely changed. My bones. Oh my gosh, my bones are definitely feeling like they're at any point they can break them. I sprained my ankle a little bit, and it feels my foot is completely like it's messed up. So they've done a lot of physical things, physiologic, like my body has been impacted by what they've done, and I know they do this, but it's not as bad as the mental torture. The mental torture is the worst because it's non-stop, and they make you think in this most irrational way and disturbing way and nonsensical way, and then put their warnings. Oh, they'll rape you. Okay, now they're not saying that to warn you, right? Like I said, this is not a warning only. Is to make you identify and stress about this nonsensical, irrational way they made you think. For example, this is just something that just happened not too long ago, and this is just I was like, okay, this is an example of a mental torture that V2K mixed with this uh, illogical individual that lives around me that's supposed to push me to accept this. Um, I have done today, but they do. It's not stop. It's not stop. It's not stop. And the crazy thing and the interesting thing is the way when they interact and when they use these V2K interactions, you hear these people talking, right? V2K can push some kind of voices into your brain as if they arrive next to you, right? That's what this technology does. These people, when they do talk, when they use the V2K to express themselves, and it's not just like the AI or something. They use these tones of voices, which sometimes is comical. They say the most irrational things using the most sensible tone of voice, or maybe menacing tone of voice. Right? I don't want to mimic them, but it's just interesting that, and it's just some perp that live not too far from here, and that's trying to sound a certain way. It's like, oh, they're like, I'm gonna try to mimic it. They'll rape you. They're like, they use this kind of serious tone of voice, this menacing tone of voice, when they want you to accept this nonsensical rationality. So, for example, today they did this thing where they go back into things they've done to me before, right? I've mentioned the way they make me perceive individuals, especially children, especially like children. So what they did to me is they made me think of a moment where they forced me to have this disturbing perception of this teenager. I'm talking about a 15, 16-year-old kid. And they forced me to perceive this kid in this sexual way, which it was disturbing. It disturbed me a lot. It annoyed me, it disturbed me. And these kids are all like they enjoy messing with you in this fashion, right? And I remember, coming back from work and looking down. I was like, okay, they're gonna do something to me. And as I look up, it's cold outside, so I'm wearing coats, and everybody's wearing coats. It's cold outside, and as I'm looking down, I raised my head just a second, and as I raised my head, immediately I hear somebody say "dots," and as I look in front of me, my eyes are fixated directly to the chest area of some kind of teenage kid. She's wearing a sweater. It's cold outside. She should be wearing more than a sweater. But I'm guessing that this thing was orchestrated in a way that my eyes just fixate her chest area. She's definitely a child or a teenager of some sort. Definitely. There's no doubt. Sometimes you can be like, oh, like I'm not sure she could go either from, she can be like a late teen, early 20s. No, she's definitely a child. And the way they make me perceive this kid, this teenage kid, was so disturbing. It was like, ugh, I was disgusted. But I know that's what they do. Right? I know this is the stuff they do. I know this is the grading stuff they do. And so you expect that every time you go out. I just look away. Now, that was that. They disturb me, that's that. And that was the usual. I mean, at this point, I expect to get the worst perceptions of kids. That's what's going to happen. That's why when I go outside, I'm not afraid of any adults. I'm afraid of looking at a kid and then they're going to do their disturbing things. They're going to force me to have some kind of disturbing perception. Now, then not too long ago, I went to a restaurant. There was a host. This host, which I believe was some young adult. At least that's what she appeared to be. I'm not sure. They didn't do these manipulations they do to me because she most likely looked like an adult, right? She's wearing a sweater, a very non-subjective way of dressing, very not some kind of person that will attract your attention in that way, that will not grasp anybody's attention. She's very much covered up, big sweater, oversized sweater, and she looks young, but young as in like maybe a young adult, right? Now I don't know, I didn't get any disturbing perceptions, and that's most likely because she was an adult. When she's an adult, they don't mess with me. If she's underage, they start messing with me, and it was not anything. She was very covered up, and so nothing happened. Then they start messing with me. It's like, hey, how old is she? How old is that person you saw? Like, it's all a mental mind game. And it's like, yeah, you sure she's not, like, and that's for somebody that you're not sure, right? It goes into, like, because it could be, but, you're not 100%. It's not even about you being interested in that person. Are you seeing her for the right age? Not, are you interested in her? That's what it becomes. So it's like, no, I'm not interested in her. Of course, I know they can stimulate me to kids and they can force me, but because of that person most likely not being a kid, they didn't do the stimulation, and at that time there's no disturbing perception like that. They try now to create something because they want me to be doubtful, but at the end that's just what they're doing now. So what they're doing now is, and that's just an example. I just want to explain the type of mental torture I'm going through. This is just one of many. They do all kind of irrational ways of thinking to really make you go crazy. Now they try, because I did not see this person in a sexual way. My perception were not manipulated in that certain way, and this young woman, I guess, this young adult woman, was wearing a sweater, and I did not get this perception. Not, except now they try to kind of play with it. Now they try to what they're doing is listen how the mind games they do in your brain, your sense of intellect, your thoughts. They're forcing me to start comparing. It's like, why then did you have this perception of this obvious kid, and why didn't you have this person that you believe is an adult? Why didn't you get any perception of that nature, or not even that nature? Why are you capable of, some comparing those two? Why are you seeing this person like this and this person like that? Are you saying that this kid has bigger chest area than this person? Like, it's just disturbing things. not this disgusting ways of thinking. It's disturbing. And of course, the reason why they're doing this is to break you. Of course, I do not. What kind of thoughts are those? They're disturbing thoughts. They're forcing you to compare the perception they manipulated onto somebody else and try to play with that. It's just nonsensical. It's just nonsensical. And then they go into the memory, go back into that person that's, the host, try to now create some. It's a lot of back and forth and playing with your mind and your perception at the time, just to make you lose your stuff. It's nonsensicalness, it's disturbingness, is meant to just break you down. And you have to understand these people are just nonsensical. And they use these people, which I believe are next door or people here, and they just go into rambling. Oh, they are, and they go repetition. They're like, yes, we are. They're gonna rape you. They're gonna do this, because they want you to be like, okay, see how crazy and how disturbing that is. This you should be feeling guilty for these ways of thinking, and they go into this mode where they want you to accept this. I'm not going to use that word, but this nonsensicalness, where they're the one playing with you and forcing you to have perception of some nature and then go back to this. It's just nonsensicalness. Even me expressing what's happening, I just, and listen to myself, I was like, these people are irrational. These people are damn near crazy. And they will do noise campaign. Oh, they will slam all the doors. They will go around. You hear this noise outside. You hear that it's non-stop. To get you to go like accept these things. Because they want you to identify with this nonsensicalness. I hear all kind of weird noises. My neighbors open the door, close the door. Out of nowhere you hear somebody screaming in the hallway, say something weird. And I'm in a place where there's a lot of Hispanic too. So they start speaking out loud in Spanish because I can't understand what they're saying. They start saying, whatever, just to get you to, like, it's a game for them. They're waiting for a moment for them to start making noise campaign and make you feel, accept this nonsensicalness. And they have no shame, right? They have no shame in the sense that, as illogical as it sounds, they know it's illogical, but to them it's a game. So they go ahead and they start making noise campaign. They understand the assignment is to make you lose yourself, your brain. Now, to all my target individuals, the reason why I'm making this reality check, not this reality check, but this testimony, is because you are going to be forced to identify with this nonsensicalness. I've made a video about gaslighting. This is what they do once they force you to have these disturbing thoughts, this mental torture. They gaslight you, warning you of this torture, which is basically fear tactics, and making you just agitate you to it. Do not subscribe to this nonsensical. These people are childlike individuals. For me, at least, I can say that a lot of them are childlike individuals. They are people who are, per se, as sophisticated as this weapon is. They like to utilize childlike individuals. Like, what I mean childlike is like either they're children, like they're children, or they're just young adults. And at that age, you're not the most mature, you're not the most rational. You are easily influenced. You are looking to be valued, like you're looking to be valued by people. You have a chip on your shoulder. You start, like, for you, it's you can see it as a game. You don't take things as serious. You don't understand the. So using these people who have no shame, who will do anything to try to, like, that's it. And they think like this is a game where they're gonna win or lose. There's no winning or losing. They're going to continue to do that. I will never subscribe to that, but it will be agitating till the end. And so you got to be strong. These people are not telling you who you are. They're just breaking you down. That's the game. They're breaking you down and make you accept this. And when they say, oh, you lose, it means that your brain is still going to be ravished and forced to think in this illogical way. Yes, let me say this. You cannot combat the V2K or the synthetic telepathy. At least I cannot. I don't have to. I don't know what to. If there's helmets available or things, this is not something you can block. You cannot block this nonsensicalness to go into. This technology, via waves of some sort, microwaves, they are overriding your thinking. They're overriding everything. You can perceive things the way they want you to perceive. You heard that before from others. I'm not the first one. They can manipulate your libido. They can manipulate your perceptions. They can manipulate your thoughts. They can manipulate your eyes. They can manipulate what you look at. The sophistication of this weapon is unbelievable. And these people are dumbing themselves down to try to make you accept these things because they know obviously they're the one manipulating you. They're not. Let me just repeat that. They are dumbing themselves down. They're not actually dumb. They are dumbing themselves down. They are dumb in the sense that they don't understand that this thing is going to, they're going to get back. This going to come back for, they're going to get what they put their effort on. It's going to come back to them. It'll come back to them. Whatever they've done, whatever they involve themselves, they will come where they will be reimbursed. But they are dumbing themselves down in the sense of pretending that they obviously are the one manipulating the individual that way. They know this very well. Matter of fact, they know even more than you do. I do. Much more. But it's their assignment to manipulate you, to break you, to make you accept. To them, it's almost a game. And then they play dumb. It's like, oh my gosh. Because even the moment with this, when I was walking from work, and I will look up, this person, they say, that's, even before my eyes got to that point, it was just like somebody was just timing it to that. And so everybody knows this is how the game goes. They're going to play with you, they're going to manipulate your brain, and then they're going to go back and forth. Everybody. Now, I'm not saying people are not going to do harm to you, but these people harming you are aware that the manipulations is being applied. And for me, it's just annoying, but I have to, because there'll be a time, I know these people have no shame. Some of these people, they have kids. They would easily say something and frame me using their own kids. They will sell their kids. They will definitely sell their kids. What I mean selling means they will compromise their own children. With no problem, because here it's as if there's no law. And what I mean low is not low in regard of doing things to me, but low in regard of how low they would go, even to compromise their own children and stoop to a level of no return. And so, to me, I'm like, I don't care. At least, sell your kids. That's what you get. Good for you. I want you to continue to live this life because this is such an indignified life. And people who do these kind of things, they have things coming back to them for sure. It's just a matter of time, right? I always say justice will be done. These people, to me, I look at them as just the bottom feeders. The bottom feeders, the people who just implement what's already been organized and prepared. They're not. If any of them right now were to move out, to no longer be there or decide to go on vacation for 3 months, none of these things is going to stop on my side. So I see them for what they are, right? Just the bottom feeders. And so I know that they're going to be reimbursed properly. I always pray and always ask God, thank you first of all, God, for never letting me stoop to that level where they are. That I'm thankful that I was not involved in this program in the way they're involved in. Like, I will not trade places. Even though I'm the one being tortured and manipulated in this disturbing way, this is painful. This is disturbing. This is it's not a life that I want. It's suffering of a certain level. And I know it's going to be even more suffering. But the way they live is so degrading in different fashion. I think I would probably be suicidal if I lived their life. Or I would definitely need to have I would not want to be by myself in my own thoughts when I do what they do. Well, now I just miss me. I miss being me. I wouldn't mind being by myself, but with my own thoughts. My thoughts are no longer mine, and so I'm being manipulated and disturbed, and I'll deal with pain. I know, and they even talk, oh, they're gonna castrate me. I'm like, listen, I'd rather, and I'm saying that truthfully, I'd rather be castrated I'd rather be cut up in pieces than live my life to do what they do. What they do is there's no limits. They torture infants, kids. I'm not talking about like decades ago. Uh, this is happening today. So I know who's talking to me about these warnings. I'm talking to people who have done horrible things. And, regardless of what I'm going to go through, just remember these are just the bottom feeders. Now, those mental torture are ways to force you to make you accept, is meant to make you lose your stuff. They have so much irrationality. And at this point, the synthetic telepathy goes into you in a way that is so hard to see the difference between your thoughts and those thoughts. With time, it becomes more and more in deeper into your way of thinking that it's so hard to differentiate your thoughts and the other thoughts. And so what you have to do is just remember those are disturbing thoughts are not yours. And a sign that usually they want you to accept a false narrative is when they do their noise campaign. When they tell you, oh, you're going to live out, they're like, you're going to live outside, you're going to do this. Listen, whatever happens, I'd rather die in this horrible way than having to live the way they live. They're not living a lavish life, by the way. They're living a life of freaking degradation. They are dehumanizing me, but they are degrading themselves. So, when you deal with this mental torture, my recommendation is sometimes just have a reality check. Speak out loud what's happening in your brain. Have a self conversation. I call those moments reality checks. Reality check is speaking up what is being put in your brain. Somebody is doing this and forcing you to say that. Just pick up your phone, film it, and then hear yourself. You will hear how illogical, irrational it sounds. Right? You hear what these people are manipulating you to think. And you put things in perspective because in my cases, or in a lot of other cases, you get target individuals, right, us, and you have perps moving around you, living around you, and you have the V2K where you can hear them. It sounds like it's just like next door. They might not just be next door. They might be like a few doors away. They can be all the way there. And they try to break you down, right? Speak up and say out loud. Record yourself saying it. And hear what they're saying and what you're saying. And hear how it sounds. So I have this reality check where I say, okay, at this moment they're forcing me to do this and forcing me to think like this, forcing me to compare this and that, and they're saying this to make me identify to that. When you hear that, you're like, oh, this is illogical. This is irrational. Do you understand that? So I recommend to all target individuals, the best way to deal with this kind of mental torture is have a reality check. You can write it down, but I recommend just pick up something, record yourself, and hear it back. Then it'll put you back in reality. It's a little bit of a therapy, and in the moments of that, like you will, they will obviously gaslight you, but at least you understand how irrational this thing sounds like. This is all mental torture using V2K and synthetic telepathy. Right? This is the mental stuff. That's what they're gonna do till the end for me. And I'm not gonna subscribe to that. And like I said to all target individuals, stay strong. They will try to break you down. Do not listen to this nonsensical, right, irrational, illogical way of thinking. They are forcing you to think this way. This technology can override your thoughts, override your perceptions. You'll hear some noise coming from outside. You hear noise coming from the hall. Like it's a system, and they sound very passionate too. It's like, oh, you're outside. Oh, you'll die. Oh, and it's part of and when you should hear them when they say, "Oh, you're gonna get raped," with a lot of like passion, in order to get you to be more like, "Oh my gosh, Oh, it's my thoughts. It's not my thought. Like that, that's the name of the game. Force you to accept these thoughts as yours, while mentally torturing you. So to all my target individuals, stay strong. Know that justice will be done for what they've done. Be strong and understand. We might be suffering like this, but I guarantee you have more dignity they ever have. They might be living more comfortably, but I can guarantee you that these people doing this to you are more fragile than you ever be. They could not stand a second of what you go through. And it will take very little. And they're very coward-like. Huh? Very, very, very coward-like. Which I understand. When you do as much stuff that they do, they understand that, oh my gosh, if a little thing happened to them, it's like, oh gosh, it's that time. I've done a lot of stuff to people. I've destroyed their life. I've called myself a god because they like to call themselves God with me. I've done this. I've involved myself in this program. I work day in and day out to find ways to break this person out, and they use different disturbing thoughts, manipulations. They've manipulated my thoughts in different disturbing ways. I've talked about it. So imagine something happened to them, just a minuscule thing happened to them. Oh, they're probably like, so understand you have dignity and strength that they will never have in their life. And they'll get what is coming for them. They'll be reimbursed properly for all the effort and time they spend torturing people. So stay strong and understand that you are a much better human, and you're doing much better in life than they are. Not in the means of finances perhaps, but in dignity. I'm telling you, we all gonna die at one point. This I call them trash. We'll die too. But they dedicate their life doing these things. And you know that I hope they live long doing this, because I don't want them to move on and live a better life doing things that's more dignified. I want them to live this degrading life and claim their God. So to all my target individuals, stay strong and know that justice will be done. Okay, thank you.